Hey everybody, how you doing? Good morning. This is Jeebs here. I'm your old composer here at the World Music Reaction and Review channel. And before I get started on this theme for Zelda, I'm just really excited about this Saturday. It's going to be my very first Twitch stream. And I'm focusing on OSTs. We're going to talk back and forth. That's, I guess, how we do it on there. And you guys are going to take me on journeys on, maybe now what I'll do is I'll look up little scenes of some of the video games that you guys want me to listen to beforehand so that I can learn a little bit and maybe get a different feel about what it is that I kind of associate the music with the video game. All kinds of fun stuff. The link for that will be down below. Anyhow, so I guess that was my pitch. Zelda, the theme. I had many people say I've got to listen to the theme song from Zelda. So I look it up and I came up with many different iterations of it. And so after doing some homework, I realized, I looked all the way back, that the very first theme was written in 1986 by a composer by the name of Koji Kondo, who apparently still works for Nintendo. Well, this is according to Wikipedia, so not everything on the internet is correct. But he's a legendary game composer, it seems to be, and continues to be just that. So what I'm going to do is something different here. I did it once before on another video, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the very first one, because it looks like it's only just a couple minutes here. I'll listen to the very first one, you know, the 1986 version, and then I'm going to listen to another iteration of it, maybe I think it was about 15 years later. And then the last one I found the same thing except with a 25th anniversary live orchestra. So let's go ahead and bounce through that. Thank you guys so much for all your support. You know where all the links are. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, check out my Patreon, and of course, Twitch coming up. All right, guys, let's do this. So this is the theme, The Legend of Zelda. This one is the 1986 track. All right. You know, this is what's wonderful about listening to a composition of this nature. It is so stripped down, but it is so rich with melodic content. And I believe, and I said this in one of my earlier videos, I did it last week, something when I reviewed something that came from, I'm learning a lot about this process. I guess it was called an 8-bit processor or 12-bit or something. I'm still learning, so. But because of the limitations, it's seemingly, I don't mean like forced the composer, but with the limitations that a composer had to write in this, in that environment, you really had to be purposeful with every single note, had to have some kind of impact. So you have the main da 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 da, and then when he comes in with the second backup melody of that, some of it is in unison, playing at the same time except an octave lower. But I love how he meanders off in answer back to that melody. At the same token, while you have that sound, which is the only really super percussive sound that doesn't have a tone value to it, meaning it doesn't have like a note assigned to it, so it's just. But he has also, he has a really super cool bass line kind of bebopping around there. Very EDM-ish, very like, you know, you could take this and just kind of tweak it a little bit and make it, you know, pop culture, current EDM sounding stuff. But I just love how it's just so stripped down to the melody that without a doubt, if you played this game, and especially if you're still playing it, that hook is so permeated in your mind. I just absolutely love that, and for me, since I don't know the game, except I did see a little piece of it or something like that, but it's very much Save the World. It's like, you know, that kind of anthemic kind of vibe. Even though I'm hearing it in this little 8-bit, it's very, I'm here to get, da, 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 da. You know, it's got that energy to it, like you are going to save the world or whatever the mission is on this. And so I really super dig that stuff, because, you know, composers and arrangers and stuff, a lot of times, you know, we can pull a lot from a melody in compositions and arrangements when we're adding to it. Sometimes it can get convoluted, not all the times, but sometimes. But when you hear something so raw and stripped down like this, it's exciting for me, because now we're going to go into, as you just see, I just kind of slipped into another. Let me straighten this out here. There we go. Okay, so now I don't know what version, iteration this is of the same exact theme. I don't know how many years later this is. I know that it was uploaded here at 2010. Doesn't necessarily mean that's when it was done, obviously. But let's listen to it now. Apparently it's the same exact theme. I can see it's almost just about the same time. Let's see what this version sounds like. Okay, now this is really super cool. At least as somebody who loves to talk about music in the capacity of how having more opportunities to expand on the sound now, because now we're no longer dealing with 8-bit. Now games apparently at this point, whatever year this was, this particular arrangement was done on, whatever version game it was, had more room to do things on the sound card, if they were still in that technology, which I know nothing about. Now, part of that is also the growth of technology in modules and synthesizers and samplers and stuff like that. So this is the same exact track, verbatim, pretty much, except now you have horns and stuff representing the lower lines and stuff like that. We actually have the timpani, and we have the, the percussion, the cymbals and the snare and stuff like that. Now we're expressing to a whole completely different level this track. And of course now even more so, it really seems like, excuse me, we're going to save the world kind of vibe and energy. The very first one, like this one, obviously is repeating some phrases because this was probably being played during maybe when you were setting up, or maybe on your first, mission of sorts, or the game was just getting into gear or something of that nature. But as far as listening to this, now this is a completely different piece of work with the same exact melody, but now it feels a hell of a lot fuller because the options have opened up in the gaming world. Better sound quality, and then of course having the options. Because from 1986, I personally know that there was not quite yet really super bold samples and stuff like that that you could pull off a decent orchestral sound. There was Kurzweil, and there were a couple of other, Fairlights, and a couple of other things that were going. I think Roland by that time had the S550 and stuff like that, where you could do samples, sounds like strings or sounds like horns, but it wasn't quite there. This is now a little bolder, so you can hear the infusion of technology, both musically and apparently with the liberties that the game has given the composer to expand the arrangement to be played against the game. Thinking at the end, yeah. And also, I just want to make sure that when I was saying samples and stuff like that, I'm not suggesting, because I really don't know, obviously, that this was all done. This particular version was all done with samples and stuff. There are the stabs and the hits and certain things that sound very much along the lines of using newer technology for orchestral sounds. But a lot of times what composers do, especially in this era, because this was a little more progressive, I'd say maybe this is 20 years old or 15, 18 years old or something, is to record live music sometimes over something called stems. Sometimes they'll use some of the existing stuff they did on modules and then take it and an orchestra will overdub over it. But those stabs, and there were a couple of other little things that had more module quality sounds and stuff like that, but it was a tremendous difference obviously in the first one. Okay, so now we're going to go to the last one, and excuse me, and this one is a live performance of an orchestra performing this theme. It's a 25th anniversary, apparently. So let's do this. I'm not gonna stop for this. This is apparently almost 5 minutes, so maybe there's some rearrangements in here. So I'm not gonna stop through this. Let's just listen to it and really kind of maybe glow a little bit in this little trajectory we just took from 1986 to, this is also about 11 years ago, it says here. So let's just go. Let's see what we got here. All right. Jeez. I mean, I have really nothing to say about that except how absolutely extraordinary that sounded. So first of all, hats off to the engineers and stuff like that. Everything was so, and it's kind of a beast in a church like that, you know, with the big overhead. There's overhead mics and stuff to pick up ambiance, but then there's close-in mics on certain instruments. And it's just the richness and the thickness of a composition or an orchestration that was also, she did an absolutely phenomenal, and I'm not somebody that could stand in judgment of conductors, trust me, but because I've had some experience and stuff, it's just so wonderful to watch a conductor and how they pull and emote emotions out of all the musicians, even though they have the dynamics written in front of them. You know, get louder, go softer, and all the, you know, orchestral, you know, dynamics that are on paper. I just love the arrangements and the orchestrating of this. But what I will say, because this is going on kind of long here, is that what an amazing feeling it must be for a Kondo. I want to make sure I don't want to blow this. Koji Kondo. What an amazing feeling it must be that maybe way back in 1986 he's, hey, I'm doing this little thing for a video game. This could be really fun. And then have it go through so many iterations and then finally be performed like this. It's got to be such an amazing feeling. I would never know. But anyhow, yeah, listen, I just hope you enjoyed this particular journey. I thought it was really nice way to express a technical growth also of a single melody and composition through 1986 to maybe 2000. I don't know what that other date of that one was, to, you know, this 25th anniversary live orchestral version of it. You know, so that's really super cool. Now I got to learn something about the game, I guess. I should figure that out. And that's why hopefully you'll visit me at Twitch. My very first show is this Saturday. I'm only going to do Saturdays from now until I figure out how to do it. And even if Twitch is maybe a cool profile or format for me or not, I'm not too sure yet if it's something I'll be able to do well or not. But the good thing about that there is that you guys will be able to tell me, no, watch this. Oh, and I'm learning. And I also want to learn how to play, you know. So, oh, geez, did I do this? Back in the 1900s. I make myself laugh. All right, guys, listen. Hope you enjoyed this. If you're still here, type in I'm still here. And yeah, the links if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or check out the headsets or the Twitch link and all that stuff is down below. You guys take care. Have a killer day. See ya.